Over the past 8 months, Samantha Mina has been losing weight at an extremely dangerous pace. Eating more than 3 bites of food makes her projectile vomit, and no doctor can tell her why. But now, Dr. Ziad Haddad has uncovered a lead during an upper gastrointestinal exam.
The contrast could not really progress past the third portion of her duodenum.
The duodenum is the first section of the small intestine, where most digestion takes place.
After the completion of the upper GI series, in conjunction with her history, the diagnosis was pretty clear. I was confident that the diagnosis was superior mesenteric artery syndrome.
Superior mesenteric artery syndrome is a rare condition involving the digestive system and arteries. In healthy individuals, the duodenum, located at the top of the small intestine, runs between 2 branches of the superior mesenteric artery, or SMA. But in patients like Samantha, the duodenum becomes pinched between the 2 blood vessels, making it impossible to digest food.
In healthy individuals, as the duodenum passes underneath the SMA, the angle is wide enough for the flow of food. As that angle becomes more and more narrow, it starts to compress the duodenum. So think of the angle as an upside-down V, or almost like a nutcracker. As the angle becomes more and more acute, it compresses the duodenum more and more.
I definitely couldn't believe it. There's an artery cutting across my small intestines, preventing me from eating. I wanted to shout from the rooftops, like, "We found what's wrong with me. I don't have an eating disorder. I'm not anorexic."
However, Dr. Haddad suspects Samantha's small frame probably set the stage for the disorder.
I'm not sure what the tipping point for Samantha was, but that weight loss then exacerbated what was already probably a narrow angle for her SMA. And once that angle narrowed beyond a certain threshold, then the obstruction began, and then her downward spiral began. Your digestive tract is just like any other plumbing. When there's an obstruction, things back up. Vomiting is almost like a protective mechanism to decompress those structures. So she was vomiting, she wasn't getting enough nutrition, and thus she's had weight loss. Had Samantha never been diagnosed and never been treated, she would have continued to lose weight, and that would have been a life-threatening condition.
After I was diagnosed, I was extremely relieved. I was just thrilled, and so was my mom. Everything fell into place. I wanted to know what to do.
The treatment is a surgical procedure where you're basically reconfiguring the bowel, the small intestine, in order to divert the flow around the obstruction, such that food is not going underneath the SMA anymore, it's going around it.
But the surgery is risky. Samantha is so underweight, heart failure is a real possibility.
My worst fear when Samantha was going to surgery is that she is very, very thin, and it might be too much for her to handle. So it was scary to know that she might not come out of it.
And there are other serious complications that Samia and Samantha must face.
The surgeon explained to me that there is a possibility that the superior mesenteric artery would be severed, and that would cause hemorrhaging. This is a major artery that branches right out of the aorta, which stems straight from the heart. So to hear that from just nicking that artery, I would bleed to death, was terrifying. I remember just crying, saying, "Is there any other way? Is there anything else that can be done besides surgery?" He said, "I'm sorry, no. If you do not have the surgery, you will die." I decided that despite all the risks involved with a surgery like this, that I would go through with it. My surgery was scheduled for 3:30 p.m. on January 31st, 2008. I just felt like, let's do this. I'm ready to have my life back.
Finally, Samantha is wheeled into surgery.
It was a long wait. I've been through a lot in my life, but that was the worst experience I ever had.
After 8 long hours, the operation is complete.
I remember waking up in the anesthesia recovery room, and I saw the surgeon there, and he said, everything went according to plan, everything is fine. I felt relieved. I was told I had to take at least 1 semester off, but I needed a year to recover from SMA syndrome as a whole. I was put into physical therapy because I had lost a lot of my muscle mass from all the weight loss and the malnutrition.
She still had to be on some liquid diet and then soft diet, and then little by little introducing the solid food. So it was like a mother who is feeding a baby. Every day was an improvement for Samantha, and that was exciting.
I remember standing on the scale at a post-op appointment and seeing that scale read 85, and that was the most beautiful number to my eyes. I was just thrilled, and so was my mom.
As Samantha begins to recover, she can't help but wonder why not one of the many experts she consulted was able to recognize her condition.
SMA syndrome is a rare disease. The diagnosis of SMA syndrome is hard to make on a clinical basis alone because the symptoms associated with it are fairly nonspecific.
I was just so happy to be on the road to recovery.
Today, Samantha feels better than ever. She graduated from college with honors, and her future looks bright.
I feel like I do have my life back. I do anything I want to, social events. I have more energy.
Samantha gained 30 pounds since she got sick. She's a blessing. She's a joy. She's happiness.
I would say Samantha is a better person. She was already a great person, but I think her suffering, it's helped her realize what's most important to her in life.
I will soon be starting law school at the University of Virginia. I'm specifically interested in patient advocacy. Sometimes in the healthcare system, you have to be your own advocate. Don't ever let someone brush you aside, say that nothing is wrong and there's nothing we can do about it. There always is something you can do. I am living proof that there is hope for people with my condition.